Have you ever looked at a quiet apartment building and thought absolutely nothing exciting could ever happen there? Well, The Apartment Job completely flips that idea upside down. At first, it looks like a simple crime comedy with a former gangster chasing one last payday. But within the opening episodes, it becomes clear that this series has much bigger ambitions. Instead of throwing endless action scenes at the audience, the show builds its story around something surprisingly ordinary: an apartment community. That simple setting becomes the perfect stage for hidden money, neighborhood politics, personal secrets, and corruption that runs much deeper than anyone expects. The main character, Park Hae-gang, isn't introduced as a traditional hero. He's a former gang leader who's struggling financially and believes there's a hidden reserve fund inside this apartment complex that could completely change his life. His original goal is simple: get close to the money, take it, and disappear. But reaching that money isn't easy. Breaking into an office would attract attention, so he chooses a much smarter and much funnier plan. He decides to become someone the residents actually trust by running for the apartment association president. Watching a former gangster suddenly attend community meetings, smile politely at neighbors, shake hands with families, and act like the perfect citizen creates some genuinely entertaining moments. It's a clever idea because the comedy doesn't come from silly jokes. It comes from seeing someone with a criminal past trying to survive in a world filled with ordinary people who have no idea who he really is. Seriously, what surprised me most is how quickly the story starts adding layers. The hidden money isn't the only mystery inside this apartment complex. Every hallway, every meeting, and every conversation feels like another piece of a much larger puzzle. People who seem completely harmless may know more than they admit, and small disagreements between neighbors slowly begin revealing signs of something much darker happening behind the scenes. Curious, that's where the series becomes more than just a heist story. It starts asking interesting questions. How much corruption can hide inside an ordinary community? Can someone with a criminal past recognize injustice better than people who have always claimed to follow the rules? And when money's involved, who can really be trusted? Ji-sung is the biggest reason this premise works. He plays Park Hae-gang with quiet confidence instead of exaggerated toughness. He rarely needs loud speeches or dramatic reactions because his expressions alone often tell you exactly what his character is thinking. You can see a man constantly calculating his next move while also realizing that every step deeper into this apartment community is making his life more complicated than he ever imagined. Warm Ha Yoon-kyung brings a completely different energy as Kang Ha-ri. Her ambition, intelligence, and determination help balance Hae-gang's street-smart instincts, creating conversations that feel natural rather than forced. Moon So-ri also adds personality to the apartment community, reminding us that even the residents who appear ordinary may end up playing important roles as the mystery unfolds. Engaging. One thing I immediately appreciated is the show's confidence. It doesn't rush to explain everything within the first episode. Instead, it slowly earns your attention by leaving small clues, introducing memorable personalities, and allowing the apartment itself to become one of the most important characters in the story. By the time the opening episodes end, you're no longer wondering whether Hae-gang is going to find the hidden money. You're wondering how many secrets this building has been hiding all along. And honestly, that's exactly what kept me interested enough to keep watching. Thoughtful. The biggest strength of The Apartment Job is that it understands a simple truth. People are often more interesting than the crime itself. Yes, there's hidden money. Yes, there's corruption. But what really keeps the story moving is watching how different personalities collide inside one apartment complex. Every resident has an opinion, every meeting feels like a political campaign, and every decision seems to create another problem. Engaging. That's what makes this drama feel fresh. Instead of expensive casinos, luxury penthouses, or international criminal organizations, the battlefield is an ordinary residential community, and somehow that ordinary setting creates extraordinary tension. Curious, the writing constantly reminds us that corruption doesn't always happen in giant corporations or government offices. Sometimes it can exist much closer to home, hidden behind friendly smiles, neighborhood meetings, and people who appear completely trustworthy. That idea gives the series a surprisingly grounded feeling. Seriously, Ji-sung deserves a lot of praise because he never overplays the character. His performance feels controlled and believable. Park Hae-gang isn't trying to impress anyone. He's trying to survive. Every conversation feels calculated because one wrong move could expose his past and destroy his entire plan. Instead of relying on action scenes, Ji-sung creates tension through silence, facial expressions, and careful dialogue. That's much harder to do, and he handles it very well. Warm. Ha Yoon-kyung also brings an important balance to the series. As Kang Ha-ri, she represents someone who believes problems should be solved through intelligence and persistence rather than intimidation. Her chemistry with Ji-sung feels natural because they're very different people with very different ways of looking at the world, yet circumstances continue pulling them toward the same mystery. Another thing I appreciated is the pacing. The show doesn't rush from one twist to another just for shock value. Instead, every new discovery feels connected to something introduced earlier. Small details that seem unimportant at first slowly begin to matter, rewarding viewers who pay attention. Visually, the apartment complex almost becomes another main character. The elevators, parking garage, rooftop, security office, hallways, and community rooms are used in creative ways to build suspense. Even simple locations start feeling mysterious because you never know who might be watching or listening. The cinematography also helps create that feeling. Wide shots show how peaceful the neighborhood looks from the outside, but tighter camera angles during conversations make you feel trapped alongside the characters as secrets begin to surface. The comedy deserves credit too because it never completely takes over the story. Most of the humor comes naturally from awkward situations and personality clashes, rather than forced jokes. One moment you'll laugh at Hae-gang struggling to behave like the perfect neighborhood leader, and the next moment you'll realize that someone in the room may be hiding information that could completely change the investigation. That constant shift between humor and suspense keeps the episodes feeling unpredictable. Of course, no series is perfect. Some viewers may feel the opening episodes introduce a lot of characters very quickly, which means it can take a little time to remember everyone's role. But once those relationships become clearer, the story becomes much more followable and the mystery starts paying off in satisfying ways. That's why I think patience is rewarded here. This isn't the kind of drama that reveals everything immediately. It slowly builds trust with the audience, giving every major twist a stronger impact because the foundation has already been carefully established. Inspiring. By the time I reached the later part of the series, one thing became very clear. The Apartment Job isn't trying to be the biggest action thriller of the year. Instead, it's trying to tell a smarter story about trust, greed, and how ordinary people can become part of something much bigger than they ever imagined. That's exactly what makes this drama stand out. It proves you don't need constant explosions or endless fight scenes to keep viewers invested. Sometimes a quiet conversation in a hallway can create more suspense than an entire action sequence. What impressed me most is how the apartment itself becomes the heart of the story. Every floor, every neighbor, every security camera, and every resident's meeting adds another layer to the mystery. The building doesn't just serve as a backdrop, it feels alive. As more secrets begin to surface, you start realizing that almost everyone is hiding something, whether it's a personal secret, financial motive, or information they've been afraid to reveal.
The writing also deserves credit for avoiding simple heroes and villains. Park Hae-gang starts this journey with selfish intentions, but as he uncovers more about the corruption surrounding the apartment, his priorities slowly begin to shift. That character growth feels earned because it happens through difficult choices rather than sudden personality changes. Ji-sung delivers another memorable performance, giving the character confidence, vulnerability, and quiet humor without ever making him feel unrealistic. Ha-yoon-kyung provides an emotional balance that keeps the story grounded, while Moon Sori and the supporting cast make the apartment community feel authentic instead of just filling background roles. From a production standpoint, the series also does a great job with its visual storytelling. The camera often lingers on small details, encouraging viewers to notice things that might become important later. Combined with a clean visual style and a steady pace, it creates a mystery that rewards careful attention instead of relying on cheap surprises. If I had one suggestion for new viewers, I'd say don't judge the series after only the first episode. Give it enough time to introduce its characters and build the mystery. Once all the pieces begin fitting together, the story becomes much more rewarding and the emotional stakes become stronger. Overall, The Apartment Job delivers an entertaining blend of comedy, crime, mystery, and social commentary. It offers strong performances, an original premise, and enough twists to keep you curious without losing focus on its character. It's the kind of drama that slowly pulls you into its world and keeps you wondering what secret will be uncovered next. My final verdict: if you enjoy character-driven mysteries with clever humor and layered storytelling, The Apartment Job is definitely worth adding to your watch list. Now it's your turn. Do you think Park Hae-gang's criminal instincts will ultimately help him expose the truth, or will they become his biggest weakness? Share your thoughts in the comments because I'd love to hear your opinion. And if you enjoyed this review and want more honest movie and series breakdowns with no unnecessary spoilers, please like this video, share it with your fellow K-drama fans, and subscribe to the channel. Your support really helps me bring you more reviews like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.